Indeed, we know that part of the social responsibility and in an effort to serve and connect with the local. And we know that we have a collaboration with the School of Engineering. So the Kuwait, especially here nowadays, we know that Kuwait's youth during this COVID-19 pandemic is one of the most important things. And we have one of the most important faculties in Kuwait who have collaborated with the School of Engineering alongside the Mathematics Department, initiated the virtual engineering camp and the Math Wizard e-camp. These e-camps were a unique opportunity to support and enhance mathematics and engineering skills in teens via a safe environment by adopting the distance learning platforms through Microsoft Teams. So how about we welcome here Engineer Hania El-Khanshi, Instructor Electrical Engineering. So good morning to the Sunshine Studio, Engineer.
Good morning, dear, and thank you for having me on this rich program. Good morning.
Engineer Hania, I think you are really putting yourself as a big asset for us, really. And I can see you're smiling during this, yes, like this. We always tell our guests, please try to smile to Sunshine program. Anyhow, thank you very much for your presence in our episode today. And I think you are doing a great job. First of all, I myself like mathematics and like engineering and like science, because it is the main things behind our living really in this universe. That leads us to a first question, Emel. Yeah. Can you briefly really brief us about the campus? This is a beautiful idea that you offered. And is it the first time that you offer this type of function, or maybe it is something else?
Yeah. Thank you again for having me for this program. Well, this is not our first time to offer such camps for particularly this age group that's mainly between 14 and 18 years old. However, as you know, in the past years, we have offered these camps with a physical attendance, such as the robotics camps and such as the engineering camp. Yes. But nowadays, due to the novel pandemic, COVID-19, we face the challenge of how we can continue offering these camps to the community with all the restrictions, of the safety restrictions, and perhaps the forced closure at some time. Okay. So we had no choice but to grab the opportunity of e-learning, and from here we had to move into a virtual e-camp. So we actually started with offering two virtual camps that are the virtual engineering camp and the Math Wizard, as you mentioned. Basically, the virtual engineering camp lasted for 3 weeks, and the Math Wizard, it lasted for 5 weeks, and mainly we were meeting our participants for 5 days per week, and mainly the session was for 2 hours.
Excellent.
Well, yeah,
excellent,
this is
really.
a marvelous thing. So, Engineer, could you just enlighten us or shed the light on the challenges you faced when offering and starting up such camps?
Well, as you know, the challenges are majorly common for all educational places. We had lots of challenges, especially when you move from face-to-face to online and distance learning. We made our best and to offer solutions to overcome these challenges. The main challenge was to make an offering that as much close as to a physical camp. For example, in the engineering camp, we tried our best to select software that reflect real scenarios. So participants were able to design circuits and other designs as much as close to real life. So they were using mainly components exactly the same as the real life. And so it was like a pilot practicing on a simulation software before he or she goes into flying a real airplane. So we always look at it from a positive perspective that when you are using a simulation software, participants were able to experiment more, to use lots of components without purchasing them, without worrying about having any incident, for example. And nowadays, all best colleges are moving actually into simulation software rather than focusing all into physical hardware.
Excellent.
Another last challenge was mainly, which is the internet connection, if we can speak about it. It's also common, and but this was easily overcome. We always provided our participants with a recording of the session, and we had no problem meeting with them even after the camp time to assist in any matter.
Excellent, excellent. I think, Engineer Hania, for that reason, so there is a positive really reaction and response from the people who participate really in this camp. So what is the percentage, if we can measure it in a percentage-wise? Is it high percentage or low percentage?
Well, I can just say it was exceeding our expectations, to be honest. Especially, it's the first time we offer it as a virtual camp. And as you know, we were targeting the age group that's mainly the teenagers. And this category, they are really hard to satisfy and meet their expectations. For this, we tried our best to choose topics to keep them engaged and to wake up on the next day and be excited to join the meeting. If we want to measure their participation, their commitment, and their attendance, well, none of them was absent for any session. And even some of them, they didn't mind to stay after the camp time to check their work, to make sure it's flawless, even to ask extra questions. Also, as I said, some of them, they were really interested in asking for the recording to watch it again.
Wow,
excellent.
that is really marvelous, Engineer Hania. We need to talk more and more, and we need to really host you more and more. We have so many questions to interact with you, but unfortunately we are out of time nowadays. So thank you very much, Engineer Hania Al-Khanji. She had done a great job, her and her colleagues, Doctor.
I think really, thank you really, dear Engineer Hania, and what she did and what spoke, really beautiful things. Yes. And I think, like what you said, we have a lot of things, we have a lot of questions, but inshallah, the coming episodes we can take over.